looks like we are hopping in here now with this game in the Async League for round two. Spencer Batton already starting us off. Lee, looks like we are already getting into it. So, hey, here we are, guys. Welcome to the stream. Hope that you guys are excited for tonight, what we have in store. Spence on Curse Kiss, and we said subjects on a little bit more of an interesting brew. So we'll get you right into this while Spence is doing his first deck search. Lee, got anything opening thoughts you want to give to the game at hand?
Yeah, absolutely. Spence has a couple Pokemon that have 50 HP, mainly the Natu and the Togepi. I observed a little bit of subjects list, and he plays the Dusknoir line with the Girafarig that lets you lost zone 2 cards from your opponent's discard pile. So from what I understand, the deck is trying to eliminate threats early with the Dusknoir line. He plays Blacephalon and other things. So I think what you're gonna want to see from Spencer is see all of his baby guys at first, all of his pre-evolves, and want to rush to evolve them. I know that Dusknoir can still kind of reach around a couple of those things and fix math later and that kind of thing. I know subjects also play in Lost City, so it's going to be a real chess match here. You see Spencer here already deliberating which basic he wants to get down first off of the Fog Crystal. I think that that's the game plan for Spence. He needs to get his Pokemon down and get them evolved quick.
Sure. Yeah, definitely so.
A little bit trouble seeing what Spencer opened. My screen is small. Then Mr. Mime. I see. Mr. Mime not going to do too much in this matchup. It's better than a Wobbuffet start. Because Wobbuffet only works if the Pokemon, the defending trainer, does not have any psychic Pokemon. That's when Wobbuffet works.
Yeah.
I had the unfortunate circumstance of starting Wobbuffet both games earlier.
Right.
In First Kiss, so see the one Pokemon in the retreat for Spence has to feel okay. I don't love the board state right now after one turn, but sometimes you just have to Fog Crystal for a Pokemon and pass when you go first turn one.
Right. Yeah. It's unfortunate to not have established any more of the evolving basics, but yeah, sometimes it's just kind of what you have going first.
Yeah, absolutely. See, subject have to discard I believe that's a Rescue Stretcher Colress, maybe? Off of the Ultra Ball.
Yep, it sure is. Rescue Stretcher and a Colress down for the Ultra Ball. And he's got you can see his Duskull and his Natu of his own on his bench so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a little scary. Depending on what happens from Spence next turn, you can still see a really explosive play like a rare candy into Dusknoir plus there's lines to hit some crazy stuff here. Maybe he's holding onto a retreat and has access to like D Valley and like maybe a search card. That combined with a hand matching card could actually provide an attack, but that's a real long shot if I'm being honest. That's pretty high variance.
Yeah, that's asking for a lot at this point. I can't really tell what this card is that subject's playing down at the moment.
It looks like Cypher
Maniac. That's correct. Yep, you're right, Lee. See the blonde hair. We got the Cypher Maniac code breaking, stacking the two cards on top of the deck so that we can filch into those two cards. Pretty nice early game strategy.
Pretty strong. I think now, regardless if it's a hand match supporter or not, you want to disrupt what subject has going on, because he just looked for two cards, and I would be hard pressed to believe that they weren't a way to get into like a Dustnord play, or maybe even evolving the Zaw to finding some more traction going into next turn.
This Pokegear not going to help Spence out right now. Looks like it's a... Oh, actually, no. It finds an Arvin off the Pokegear. Yeah. So definitely going to be a big help. Thought it was a Lusamine, but Arvin grabbed
Absolutely.
for sure.
The play I want to see from Spence here is just Buddy Poffin into Evo TM.
Yep, TM Evolution.
Because the thing here is, Logan, if you put the Togepi down and you don't hit that play, that makes it so Subject doesn't have to find the Dustnord, and he can just prey on those 50 HP guys and remove them from play. There's a lot of interesting choices you can get onto from Arvin here. Spence didn't play anything except for Fall Crystal last turn, so there's no telling what else is in his hand.
He may not even have an energy, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, I know he didn't have energy. He might be sitting on something like a searching card, like a Pokemon search, like an evolution in sense.
There's the
But here we see. Oh yeah, that is a good point too, Logan. If he didn't have the energy last turn, maybe he doesn't have it again this turn.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here.
If I had it on,
well.
that's tough right there.
So don't have access to the Evo TM play this turn.
Yeah, that's going to make things easier on Subject going into his next turn. Also, Arvin means he gets to keep those 2 cards that he just stacked his deck and filched for.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a pretty high octane turn from Subject next turn. Spence, frankly, is going to have to weather the storm here. Still time, for sure, but I think he's going to be on the back foot going into his next turn or 2. The Azelf on Subject's bench, is that the one that puts 2 damage counters on each of the Pokemon? I believe so. For 1 energy. I do like Poffin here regardless of the Evo TM play, because you're going to make him choose. And there we see the Dusclops. Evo TM was in hand. See if we have the energy. We do.
We do have the energy. What a play.
Yeah, that was a pretty good play. A pretty good play. Because now you say you're not going to snipe my Togepi. And he's going to get ahead here and hit the Natu, I believe. Yeah, because the Natu only has 40
HP. Correct. Yep.
And I was saying, like, maybe Subject stack the deck with the Natu and maybe, like, an energy to, like, get some traction going. Because even though he had 3 Pokemon down, they're kind of the supporters type.
It is. Yep.
And
that's correct.
hitting the Xatu, maybe if Subject
or the Uxie, rather, with its painful memories attack for 1 psychic. Yep.
Yeah, and we see Curlia and the Togetic off the Evo TM play. A really good bounce back play from Spencer there. We see this, one of them was Surge. So I suspect he would have been looking, Subject would have been looking for the Xatu / Dusclops, just like he found right there. And now that Spencer Evo TM, those 2 pre-evolves are safe for the time being. So Spence has got to walk away from this turn feeling pretty good. Dusclops not taking any knockouts. Probably going to want to save it for Dusknoir. There's the energy. And what's that? Is it a research? Yeah, that was Professor's research.
Yeah, Professor's research.
We see so Subject grabbing a fresh 7 here.
Sure. Played down his hand pretty low, so being able to fill up to 7 makes it also a little bit harder for Spence to be able to match that hand size, hopefully for Subject's sake.
For sure. And here we see Artisan. And I like this for Spence also. Being able to search an attacker like a Iron Boulder here would feel pretty good.
Yeah.
You still have the refinement ability. You know, subject's going to be hanging around the 5-6 card mark, playing the Artisan, and if he plays anything else, that'll make 5. And Spencer has 6 in his hand right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that wouldn't be anything but an energy drop. Maybe you find some playable cards off of refinement. Some really high ceiling for Spencer's next turn.
Yeah, definitely. Having hit that Evo TM play definitely aligned Spence, set him up for, what could be an incredible turn going forward here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we see the 2 damage counter spread attack from the Azelf here. So 20 damage going on to all 3 of Spencer's Pokemon. And actually, it's damage counters, so that does get around the Mr. Mime.
Yep.
A lot of Psychics Pokemon do damage counters. That's really pesky for the bench barrier enjoyers. Let's check out the discard pile here. Gotta imagine you would want to recycle the Dusclops here too. Getting it back down. Here we see Spence Artisaning for the Boulder right on cue. Probably going to use the refinement ability next before he makes his next decision, unless if he has a better play already available in the game. Here we go. Ooh, discarding counter energy would feel. It would feel.
Instead.
Guzman hits the discard pile? Okay. Okay, sometimes you gotta refine the way the Guzman. I literally did it earlier against him. You have to, you have loose, you have versus seeker. It's not the end of the world. We find delayed here. Delayed Buddy Catch going to be able to find any supporter he wants.
And what would you be looking for, you think, Lee, off of this first Buddy Catch that we're seeing off of Glade?
Well, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what else he's hanging on to into hand. If he has access to Togekiss, I would just be looking for a Boulder play.
Right. Yeah.
But for Boulder, you would need a Goose Holla for that here.
Right.
And I'm not sure after the Thin and the commitment of the energy and placement of Dimension Valley, if he would be able to match hand size. And I think that's what he's looking at right here. If he Goose Hollas, I think he's going to be just like a card shorts, maybe 2, of matching that that hand size of subject. So research making it a little bit tough here. Here we go. There's Goose Holla.
Yeah, and that's what subject kind of was banking on, I think, with playing that research, was just that, hey,
yeah, get up a little bit out of the range and just make you have too much to really have the play, right? You would need a combination of cards that fill your hand back up. So you would be looking for like having a letter, turning 1 card into 2. And I think the other card that does that is Timer Ball, and you would be banking on 2 heads. And you also you would want to put one of them Pokemon into play if you hit one of them, because Togekiss. And I'm just not sure if this is a play that could happen. He actually doesn't need the Floatstone either. But actually, I think he took it off the Arbor last turn.
He did. You're correct.
Yeah, he took so he's sitting on the Floatstone. Doesn't need to play it because we have the energy attached for turn already. Mm-hmm. So that's a card that could be potentially plussed here. The Dimension Valley and the Energy have to be
Committed.
though. And Subject sitting at 6 cards. It's going to be really tough to match here. I almost wouldn't hate to see Spencer go like, and I know it's early, but we know that Subject plays the Lost Zone Girafarig in there. I would have really liked to see him grab Tulip there because you don't want cards that you want to get back hanging around in the discard pile.
Sure.
And the Girafarig is just a basic and any energy. So as it sits on the board, we have Artisan. He can just go search it out, attach to it manually, and treat and remove the Dustfall or the Dustclops for the rest of the game. And I think that would be massive.
Definitely a play that we'll see if Spence is taking into account. I don't think at this point he has seen that that line, but
yeah, with that Girafarig on the list, you have to be really on your toes. You have to be ready to lose any card permanently that you play. So like I said, if you have any aspirations of getting the Dustclops back there,
just gonna
and
pass
you're
the
not
turn.
launching attack, I think that you needed to Tulip. Also, it should be worth noting, since Spence was hanging on to a couple of those cards, I'm not sure if any other Pokemon / energy were in the discard pile, but if you were able to Tulip in a situation like that, having the Artisan in play, also you could put yourself in the situation where you Tulip, you put the you're holding on to the Dustclops, you bench the Dustfall, maybe you get a couple other cards to hold. Like I said, I don't think that was like an option there, but that is something that I would be thinking about. With aspirations tired holder, because if I got to be honest, the Goose Hollow didn't really accomplish a lot there.
No.
So Spencer could be punished greatly by searching out the Girafarig play right now. That's what I would be terrified of if I was Spencer.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Subjects
didn't get ahead in any way, shape, or form to be able to, put Subject in a position to need to do anything else this turn. And sure enough, there comes the Girafarig down from the Artisan.
Yeah, I would be hard pressed to see Subject do anything else but that this turn. I mean, the play is there. I'm not sure. If I'm Subject right now, 2 damage counters sounds kind of cool, but removing that Dustclops for the rest of the game sounds a little bit cooler,
No, yeah, you're 100% right. And there's the recycle energy as well.
Should be noted too, this is the first time I am seeing Subject's list live. I kind of glanced over it. I'm going to be honest. This is the third live commentary that we've done. The very first time I did not take notes. I've been, I had my tournament games. Been playing Silver Series all day. Didn't really have time to jam in everything that I wanted to. So I apologize if I'm a little bit unprepared. This is all the fly here. Cool. Subject
that we do have the list.
Look at Spencer's discard pile though, and yeah, Spencer's left tapping his fingers as Subject's
Maniac played for turn as well.
Oh goodness. Not going to be able to go fetch out with Glade. Not going to be able to.
And we get rid of the Guzma.
One other. Oh, Guzma.
And one other.
Oh, well, it's probably
the Dustfall. Right? Yeah,
because you don't need to take both if you just take the basic.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's what he eyed up. I think that was the card that he selected off of. Was the
Spencer does got attach and a Marnie. So here's a hand match size. turn right here, assuming Spencer finds one playable card off this Marnie. The Azelf damage really matters also with this Togekiss, because if he evolves, he's going to be at 120 health points remaining. Because he has a base of 140. So that's notably in the Dusknoir range. So subject could have a.
We're gonna have to play the letter just to fail at Lee.
To fail the letter, ouch.
Yeah.
I mean, with Xatu, without Xatu on the board, I'm not going to say it's okay, because letter is a fantastic resource, but it doesn't feel quite as bad, right?
Thankfully, Spence not having to put the Dimension Valley into play either, though, so this Mimikyu is not going to be able to just pop copy for 1 energy, right?
Yeah, that is a good point for sure. And we've seen Spencer take care of the Natu. It did not get rebenched yet, so we're not going to be able to see any energy acceleration from subject unless if he puts his own Dimension Valley into play. And I know it's not technically an energy accelerant, but that's kind of the way I look at Valley, right? Like, cost 1 energy less, like you might as well just say like you're attaching another energy for turn.
Yeah, definitely one of the most busted stadiums in the format, the Gym Leader Challenge.
Absolutely, no, I'm right there with you. The Dimension Valley is absolutely heinous. Easily a top 2 or 3 stadium, if not the best, arguably.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there'd be many people that would argue with us on that. Parallel City, Dimension Valley. There's a couple of those that sit high atop the mountain, the hierarchy of the GLC stadiums.
Yeah, like Lost City and maybe Swell. Mm-hmm. But
yep.
Out of all those, the ones that, like, I don't know, Psychic's just so good, right? It has so much stuff. It has the Malamar, it has the Xatu. You know, you don't even get, like, why does Psychic have to have Dimension Valley? You know, like, it's just, that's why it's so good, because it's in Psychic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if other types had it, they would play it too. But like, it just feels so gross in Psychic. They should not have access to stuff like that.
We do see the attachment for turn down to this Uxie again, so it looks like we are going to possibly be spreading again this turn for subject side.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think subject plays like the reversal energy. Does he? Does he play reversal?
Counter energy, horror, psychic, mystery, and recycle. So no reversal in the list.
I see. Yeah, I mean, getting down and potentially going down a prize to make counter active. Going into next turn to copy with Mimikyu and get a Dusknoir snipe would be pretty good here. You can fix the math on the Iron Boulder with the 2 spread and then delete it and then copy.
Right.
Its attack. So I think that's like the angle subjects like wanting to go here.
Baba gonna discard that capture energy or lost zone that capture energy as well.
That's gonna make it a little bit harder on Spencer, I'd imagine. To because you don't want to put the Valley down.
No.
You really don't want to have to commit the energy to Boulder. But like that's what, you know, life gives you lemons, you gotta make lemonade. And I think that's where he's gotta be. A treasure here. Find Togekiss.
And he's going to be able to thin the hand down notably as well. Subject
yes.
with 2 cards in hand right now. Spencer started that turn with 5. So we're going to have to work down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Discarding teammates. Interesting.
We are going to see the Togekiss pulled out to be evolved display this turn.
Wonderkiss, Togekiss, for those that don't know or just tuning in. Whenever the defending Pokemon, whenever their active is knocked out, you flip a coin, and if heads, you take an extra prize card. And that doesn't just trigger for attacks. That also includes the Dusknor line. That includes if your opponent were to blow up with an ability such as the Dusknor or a Mismagius or some Melotix, some stuff of that sort. So the moral of the story is it's not just from attacks, but without the Dusclops here, without the Dusclops line, I think it's going to be a little bit harder to close the game out.
Spencer mulling over this evolution really, really strongly. I wonder what could be going through his head right now and why, not to just slam the Togekiss down.
Well, like you mentioned, he was playing his hand down. Maybe he needs to attach but wants to evolve also.
Right.
And like some of those times, sometimes in that situation, you can only do one or the other.
So here comes a hand thinner, right? You're going to get the Ultra Ball here, my guess. But if we commit to grabbing... Quick Ball's already down. If we commit to grabbing all of these, though, then... I'm guessing that Spencer's got it mapped out, though. Because ultimately, you can use the Hisuian Heavy Ball for no effect. You can use the Nest Ball for no effect. You can then Ultra Ball away 2 of the cards in your hand, getting you further down, closer to where you're at. Having to commit this reversal energy for a turn says that, hey, this is the energy that we got. We're going to have to go with it. And there's the
one thing that could be huge for Spencer here is if he flips heads on his Togekiss, that means that you skip the Blacephalon turn.
Yes, exactly.
Altogether. Because Blacephalon is only 12 if they are at 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, I believe, right? Or is it just 3?
No, Blacephalon is in... exactly 3 prize cards. So there's
exactly
only
3.
One turn that Blacephalon becomes active in the game.
Got you, yeah. And that could completely be skipped here by Spencer if he flips the heads on Togekiss. And maybe subject planned for that. Maybe he didn't.
We know he still has that Duskull on the bench, so... Takes a knockout, and there's the head. So we are going to see 2 prize cards taken there. Spencer jumping down to 2 prize cards remaining.
Yeah.
That's big. Big leap.
That's huge. Oh my goodness. And maybe subject doesn't realize this, but if you blow up that Duskull in the active, Spencer's flipping for
game.
He's flipping for game.
Yeah. We'll see if that comes up.
That's what I was just mentioning. Like, the Togekiss also
proxy in any way, shape, or form when your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out. Exactly.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter if that's an attack. It doesn't matter if that's an ability. If a Pokemon's knocked out, you're rolling for surprises.
Yeah. Now here's an interesting question, Lee. What if the Dusknor... Oh, and we're going to see a scoop right there from Subject.
Maybe he realized that. Maybe Subject had a play planned out, and showing the prizes, something wasn't good in there. Curly prize,
Rare Candy, and Dusknor, looks like.
Oh my goodness.
Rare Candy and Dusknor.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you find the Dusknor there, like I said, Spencer's rolling per game. Togekiss really pulling his weight there. Skipping the Blacephalon turn into a basically forced concession because you're not blowing up that Duskull with confidence, right?
So the interesting question that I posed to you that I wanted to ask was, what if Dusknor blows itself up into the Togekiss? I'm guessing that works. The knockout happens first. Let's
I would imagine the knockout happens first. That's actually a super interesting question.
Once during your turn, you may put 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you use the ability, this Pokemon is knocked out. So, interestingly enough,
maybe it procs like just because your opponent takes a prize like that same time where you take the prize too. I think you might have to roll for that.
Sure. Very interesting kind of concept there.
Yeah, but that could also all be avoided if the Dust Call is not in the active in that situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so Toke is more of a chess piece than than originally thought. I didn't think that would come up on a stage like this, honestly. The winner here goes to the semifinals.
Yeah.
The winner of this game faces SBO, which will be a psychic mirror. So the 3 remaining types on this side of the bracket are all psychic. So it will be a psychic final from one side. The other side remaining has water, dragon.
Yep.
And I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, I can let you know. So we've got water, dragon, psychic, and another water.
Yeah. I believe there was 2 waters, right? Ghouls, Ravi, Stack, and goodness, I'm so bad at this. SBO, yeah, of course. Spence went first last game, so I believe he can elect to go second this game. See an Iron Boulder start?
No. Subject lost game 1, so he will
definitely is that be how sticking that works? Spence. I thought.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
He's doing heavy ball. Spencer's going to get to take a look at his prizes, fails it, but the information sometimes is better than a basic Pokemon.
Yeah, especially going first right there.
Absolutely, because then that makes your supporter turn going into the next turn easier. If you get Marnied and have to do something blind, no energy attached from Spencer there.
Rough. Same way that first game started. Dry.
They're real shaky. That Evo TM, gotta think that was probably the play that saved Spencer that last game. Oh, I want to say saved it. It ascended him last game.
And to be fair, we could see something like that again in this game.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. You can find Arvin next turn and hey, like everything's forgotten.
Especially with this Artisan in play now.
Oh yeah,
Guzma Hollow would go really hard next turn.
Showed off the Turbo Blaze Reshirin. Shout out Turbo Blaze.
Yes, sir. Love it. We love it.
Subject looking like he's doing some prize checking. Looks like he would probably want to. If I'm subject, I'm trying to get my Dust Call out right now. It's either Dust Call or Curly, I think.
And notably, Lee, that first game did take about 30 minutes, I believe. So about exactly 1/3 of our time for the game tonight. I know these guys are playing under that strict 90 limit time constraint. So they started a timer basically as soon as we went live. So looking at another hour-ish on the clock at this point. So that's probably another reason why Subject scooped it up at that point. You want to make sure that you have plenty of time to give yourself the opportunity to win a game 2 and then take it into a game 3 without being worried about time, hard pressed for time.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point actually, Logan. Because if he's just trying to make Spencer think and maybe stall out an extra turn. Like, sometimes you have to see the writing on the wall. And in the best of three, like you said, in a 90-minute time period where you have to close, 2 more games, that is absolutely a great angle. Looks like we see TM evolution of subjects. We see a Ralts on the bench, I believe, from Artisan, or is he still mauling Artisan?
We have a big play going on here with this Ghouls Mahala.
Oh, it was Ghouls Mahala.
Yeah, Ghouls Mahala discarded the rare candy, able to pick up this Evo TM, able to pick up Recycle Energy as well. Evolution going to be announced to evolve both the Ralts and the Natu.
Subject can be able to grow his hand size pretty freely here. They refined from Curly a +2, clairvoyant +2.
Yeah,
drawing her drawing.
Hey, and here's that card that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Tag call to be able to search out Guzman Hala. If it is not prized, and Spencer would know that it's not, we have played.
Just doing heavy ball, right? You got a full deck check already. You know if that if the whole package is.
Unless. Okay.
Probably looking at Artisan right now too.
Yeah.
Can't double dip with one of his own, but he could even grab the Dimension Valley preemptively here.
Yeah, and I want to see Togepi come down in some way, shape, or form out of this play.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Have lined up, especially after how big it was in game 1.
Part of me wonders, and I'm not saying it's the right play, but I'm just thinking out loud here. If Subject has all these cards to grow his hand, you're taking your hand down with Ghouls Mahala right now. I wonder how tempted Spencer is to just grab like the Mystery in the Dimension Valley and just trying to get busy.
Start swinging.
Because you're gonna have to promote, the Xatu or the Curlia, and I mean Xatu's fine, but just don't give him like a lot of room to breathe, right? Like that's kind of where my
There's a timer ball and Xatu discard to the Goose Hala, and look here, Lee. Exactly kind of the route that you called out. We've got the Mystery Energy, we've got the Dimension Valley, we've got the Float Stone. Looks like we're just gonna try to get in there. Let's be as aggressive as we can. Escape rope as well. He's got escape rope in hand.
Not Artisan this turn yet?
He has not. He is not Artisan.
You gotta be mindful here. I don't think he realizes it. Somebody who has aspiration of Artisan isn't going to shuffle the deck right there.
Yep.
I do like this play though, the escape rope, and I get why Spence might be missing it because you see card, play card, you get a chance to knock out a Curly or a Xatu your second turn after a lackluster first turn like that. It might be easy.
I'd really like to see him see this and catch this before he puts this Dimension Valley into play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still rifling the deck.
Yeah, no, there's 0% chance he sees this right now. If he would have seen it, he wouldn't be shuffling.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what the shuffle's off of. He's just continuing to shuffle from the Goose Mahala. All right, yeah, Dimension Valley put into play, bumping the Artisan.
Mm-hmm.
Show you the same amount of number of cards in hand, and no, that works.
What's happening?
I'm not sure. Sure. Let me go in there and try to get an explanation.
Yeah, I'm lost. I gotta be honest. I have no idea.
Talk to me, boys. What's going on? Yes. Okay, Lee. So I've got the 411. I came back to you. So the retreat that was paid from the Iron Boulder is not enough to be covered by the mystery energy. The Iron Boulder has a 3 retreat cost. So by retreating and then playing escape rope, you now are in this situation where it can't retreat for free. The Iron Boulder retreats for 3, not 2. So mystery energy does not give it free retreat.
I see. I thought he maybe I missed something. I thought he had committed the floatstone to do that, but maybe he needed to hold it for
The Dust Skull.
tough to say. I'm not super sure. Yeah, this
It's rough
feels
though
really
now.
bad.
It's rough now. Yeah. Yeah. Now
Yeah,
we're.
this feels really bad. Not
Mhm.
seeing the artisan, giving your opponent access to the Dimension Valley with um, it being compatible with Psychic also.
We're trading the
You're
mystery energy off.
mhm. So Street Zone. Escape
Oh
rope. Oh
man.
my gosh. Mm. Wasn't the most impressive turn, but
No.
gotta just gotta just feel for Spence for not seeing that play out. Maybe even as not two of his own to start seeing some more cards here. But you got to even be careful of that because just 2 turns with the ass elf uh, is enough for a knockout on the not two. Gotta wonder what kind of play he's eyeing up here. I mean, I
He's
gotta be
deep in the
honest.
tank for sure. Yeah.
If he's sitting on that Evo TM like he was game one, just in his hand, I mean, I don't think it's over.
Razu.
Rizu's nice, definitely nice here. Delayed Dusknor Duskclops, notably skipping the Curlia. We've seen game one, Spence able to get a cheap knockout on the Zatu with the Duskclops, but he's gonna have to go to Dusknor to uh to get some value out of that. So you pass.
Yeah, definitely a pass back over to subject side. We're gonna go straight into a Marnie play. Shuffle all those resources that Spence just drew got out off of that Arazu, put them right to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, happened to me. Literally, I played Arizu round one of the playoffs. For a very similar search to that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, might I add it? Yeah, just Marnie straight to the bottom.
There's a refinement discarding the Iron Boulder from subject side.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be content to just keep spreading away at this point, I would imagine.
Yeah, it looks like that's the angle he's taken here.
He can take up and come. He can come up with the Giratina and start aggressing, right? I mean, obviously that would not be a terrible play either. But I believe you would have to commit another energy in order to get that done because the Recycle and the Psychic don't cover.
Yeah, with
the
Dimension Valley is still not enough.
Sure.
You would need a 2nd Psychic.
Right.
Yeah, still would be just a pretty good play, honestly, to just come up and take care of the boulder with 1 turn of spread already done. You're knocking out the boulder with a Giratina attack here.
Right. An Evolution Instance does find Gallade notably, so subject will be able to search out whatever supporter card that he desires here from his deck.
Did he just cherry pick Faba? Is he gonna Faba the Dimension Valley here?
Not sure. Did not see the.
Or no, he Marnied. That's right.
Oh yeah, he did Marnie. Correct. He did Marnie already.
Maybe he's just grabbing it preemptively.
Sure.
In case if Spence pulls something together here. Maybe so something like a reversal energy doesn't stick or something like that.
Subject looks like
there we go.
Evo Incense in the hand. Yeah, Evo Incense gonna go into a Dusknoir.
Started at the bottom, now we here.
And if you're a Dusknoir in this situation, what's your target?
That's a good question. Giratina can just come back from the discard, but he is the one that's powered up.
Yep, and there's the energy accelerator.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I really don't.
Both players will draw their first prize card. I will say with these 2 decks in specific and the way that they blow up their own Pokemon, there really probably isn't a reason why 3 games can't go to time. With all the free prize manipulation back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. You can sometimes play games with 2 attacks counts from person side.
Sure.
I've won
games for a Reizu, so this turn gets even kind of stronger here as
we see Spencer skip out on the Curly last time though with the Arizu. You gotta wonder if it's prized or maybe Spence had candy he was sitting on for the next turn. So the Arizu play definitely scared subject into Marnie in the hand.
Yeah, exactly. And as we see now that Curlia did get evolved this turn, so Spence obviously Marnied into it. Actually, to play the Evo Incense for it. So
I think the Evo Incense was for the Dusknoir. No, I actually missed the Curly get evolved. That must have happened quick.
yeah. So in some way, shape, or form, that happened. Either the Evo Incense grabbing out the Curlia or the Curlia being in hand from the Marnie. Definitely. Yeah. I'm not sure that we've seen it refinement anything away yet, because yeah, see, here we go. So here comes the refinement. Refinement going to discard Artisan, draw 2 more.
So 7 cards in subject's hands, I believe.
7 cards in subject's hand, and if we're Spence, we still need to play down a Psychic Energy, and as well as we're looking at a pretty thin hand size still. Get a little peek there. Looks like we got an Escape Trainer's Mail at the end of the hand.
Notably, too, subject with that last turn of spread, with 40 on the Iron Boulder, Spencer can't just Toga tick, evolve, and heal all the damage off of that. Yeah. So if subject were to have elected to go a different route last turn and left 20 on the board, Spencer could have really cashed in on that and healed the damage off with the Toga tick.
Yeah, it's a very smart observation there, Lee, for sure.
Are we about to see a whiny voice?
Looks like it.
I'm not even Spencer doesn't need to attach that energy to there.
No, he does not. He does not.
Because of the Dimension Valley.
Yep, another kind of miss in that sequence there.
Absolutely. We see an energy.
Or psychic. Mm-hmm.
So you sniped the Zatu. You did subject attach last turn? I mean, I can't really tell now because of his hands. I want to say no.
So may have took that off the prize cards there.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking too. That's what I was going to get at.
Yeah, I don't see anything purple in the hand.
So taking away the acceleration and potentially
now we have Glade. But now we have Glade though. So Glade can search us out, whenever we want. We can go get the Knot Stretcher. We can go get Professor's Letter off of an Arvin.
Mm-hmm.
There's a variety of ways now to be able to get an energy into play.
Also, too, were all three of those Pokemon down for subjects 2 turns of spreading? I gotta wonder how much HP is left on that Togepi, because if subject's able to just spread one more time, the Togepi just dies, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Spence marking damage in any way.
Maybe it wasn't down.
Yeah. Hex and then. Okay, so there we go. Now we see 6 on the. Okay, so there were 4 on the Raws. Now we see the 6 tick up on the Curlia.
Okay. Yeah, Togepi must have just
came down.
No, he didn't though, because he Arizu'd, right? The turn before, when Togepi was down.
Capture energy was.
Oh, capture. Togepi. You're right. Yeah. Okay, that's what I missed. Yeah. It all makes sense. Was that Avery that we seen, or did he?
Avery was no. Avery was played. It looks like.
Let's see.
Trying to grow the hand. You see Glade being evolved into now.
You gotta wonder if that was.
And here comes Togetic.
He's thinking about the Togetic, yeah. And actually, evolving the Togetic here, I would really like, being that Togepi's in the active. Because if there's one saving grace from that, you get to save that damage counter. Exactly. Yep. And I know Tina can fix it later into a Dusclops, but like, you don't have to worry about that right now. Because I don't think the math is relevant on any of those other guys.
And there we go. There's the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And the heal. Oh, wait. No.
Yeah. He's gotta take note of that next time for sure.
When you play this Pokemon down from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may heal 30 damage from your active Pokemon.
Yeah, that is its ability. That pertains to itself too.
And it's a you may ability, so I don't think we can even jump in and say, hey, you have to heal that damage off.
Yeah, exactly. It's the wording on there matters in the situation, right? Exactly. Sure, it's you may.
Exactly.
It was just in the past. No. Oh, you know why? The Hex Maniac.
Oh, Hex played the turn before. So yeah,
Hex. We would have seen a delayed buddy catch and all that other stuff. So that's would still be playing this turn out right now.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah.
Was that Arvin here off a buddy catch, Floatstone and Letter grabbing 2.
Could have swung in with the Fairy Wind with that turn as well, notably.
Yeah.
Right, you could have just swung. There's no Monkey Dory in this list sending the damage back. So
that is true. Yeah, I mean, exactly. If it's going to be just sitting there, like, use his attack, right?
and then you could, Dust Skull later, right? That would bring
Field blower, knocking down the Valley and the Tool.
Yep. And there we go, another 20 spread.
Making a living off of that right now.
Tough spot.
Yeah, that is tough. We have access to Buddy Catch here, but what exactly would we do? There's 2 dice on subjects cards in his hand.
It's like so 8 total cards in the hand.
8?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just unless if you're playing Judge and Marty, that's just a really tough number of cards to hit without the Curly and Zatu on the board.
And we saw this a little bit in the first game when Subject played the Professor's Research to grow past 7. Becomes a little bit dicey.
Yeah. Yeah, I experienced the same thing earlier too. Playing against Lost Zone where they're playing, items like Pokestop and all this other stuff. And where their hands can get rather large and they're holding things. And it can be very tough to match hand size.
Spencer hasn't seen enough basic energy either. Notably,
yeah,
like a Tulip is not going to be for very high value here because you only see 1 energy kicked out to the side of Spence's discard pile there. I know he's very good with usually keeping his energy in line. We've not seen anything get knocked out that had energy on it. It's been a very slow played game with multiple turns of spread it in this point. And then painful memories.
Here we see the Buddy Catch from Marty, and that's what we're talking about. Them 8 cards, you gotta bring them down to 4 somehow. Evolutions, yeah. I mean, why not, right? You're searching for the basic psychic here, obviously, off this Marty to go into the hand match size. And worst case scenario, you Evo TM?
Evo button on your Togekiss, yeah.
And I don't hate that either, because you turn, 1 prize next turn into potentially 2. And at this rate, like, that's what's going to have to be. Like, it's just, it just has to be 2-2-2 here. Or he has 5, so he can afford to miss 1 of the heads off of Togekiss, but he's gonna have to hit 2 out of 3 to close the game coming down here.
So we are gonna see a knockout here with the Iron Boulder, but you're staring down a you're staring down a Giratina that's loaded and ready to roll.
Yeah.
But notably, I mean, it is anyway. So as soon as you relax, I mean, we could even see a Guzma as early as that turn to take out the Boulder anyway. But the Subject's not been playing that game. He's been very content to just sit back, spread, attach elsewhere, try to develop the board. Notably, it's been pretty slow on the side for development as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both these players have Buddy Catch available, just taking kind of picking and choosing their spots. Subject really dedicating down to this. So we see Rhyhorn here.
Buddy Catch pulling Rhyhorn and a quick ball, discarding a psychic energy.
Yeah, because maybe he didn't have psychic in the discard pile before that. I think it was just the maybe just a mystery. Is that a giraffe? What's it? And Spence is kind of going to be in the spot where I was earlier. Without Rhyhorn in the list, you kind of have to just grab Lucamine and an energy to be able to attack this next turn.
Right.
What you could do is you could also mimic you if you had like the right pieces, right? Because you're gonna be can't quite get a count of the prizes, but I think subject would be here's
Oh,
Lost
boy.
City. This is big.
And then notably, though, it would be big for Spencer on the back end. Lost Zone Skiratina. So, but there's Blacephalon. Yeah, Blacephalon now being brought down onto the board. And that is the Giraffe as well. So the knockout being taken, 4 damage counters being placed onto that Blacephalon. And it's over to Spence now. As that Iron Boulder is now sent to the Lost Zone.
Yeah, it just has to be. It's tough because you can't Gallade for teammates and still. That's actually, if that's 3 sub prizes for subject, he could have. Looks like Spencer's just scooping though.
Yeah, I think.
What I was looking at there is potentially, and maybe teammates was already gone. I know he burned it in one of the games. I don't remember exactly if it was the first or second early, but you could have Galladed for teammates there, and teammates could have grabbed Counter and Togekiss.
Sure.
And depending if you had search for Mimikyu, you could have retreated the Togekiss and came up with Mimikyu, but that's a 3-card combo.
Right.
But notably, he was at 4 prizes, so Spencer could have skipped the Blacephalon turn yet again.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been huge. I would have really liked to see him like play to his all of his outs there, and without seeing his hand, it's tough for me to say that. But a couple of those things that game from Spencer, some oversight and a little bit.
He's going to be kicking himself for that one if the result does not go his way now.
Yeah, absolutely. That Artisan play would have been huge.
The Artisan, the attachment to the Togepi.
And we got to remember too, he played a Rizu like shortly after that too. You could have just been having another support Pokemon up, whether that be the Xatu, whether that be the Dusclops that game.
Yeah. I agree.
Again. So yeah, he's definitely got to be a little bit more careful when he just commits to the play.
And again, another about 30-minute game. We're sitting at right around an hour and 5 minutes for the clock.
Mm-hmm. Game 3, Spencer will go second. Subject starting the Iron Boulder. Togepi active. So just going to bench the Natu, go Mystery to the Boulder, and pass it right on to Spencer.
Is there anything more threatening looking at a Psychic player's board from turn 1 as an Iron Boulder with an energy attached to it in the active spot?
Ooh, Avery for 3.
Oh boy.
Finds his own boulder.
That's a nice boulder with a capture.
Boulder KO in the Togepi. That's cool. But then you can go, Dusclops potentially the Natu. And this is all assuming subject doesn't have anything else to put down, right? Like Pokemon wise. So not very likely, but I would have really liked to see the ghost there for sure. Yeah. But grabbing Natu tells me he probably has Xatu in hand. From subject here. Gonna make it easy to match hand size. All he needs is an attachment for turn. But we see an Artisan get played, so that tells me he didn't find the energy there. If he did, he could Clairvoyant Sense with Xatu. So it's either he has 0 energy or he has 2 energy.
Right.
Because you would have the Clairvoyant Sense. Maybe you have another live card or 2. You attach for turn. Boom. So it'll be interesting to see what direction goes. I would really expect to see the Duskull. Yeah. So, ball or treasure, something like that. Grabbing the Ralts. Pretty strong there. Pass. 2 cards in the subject's hands. Spencer's turn. Spencer, please do not forget about the artisan. I am once again asking you to not forget about the artisan. Professor's letter here. Energy has to go to the boulder to attack.
Sure.
We have a colorless on the board already. You can't get any cheeky Dimension Valley play off of like a Escape Rope or Guzma. Also gonna have to play some cards from your hand here.
Yeah.
Might not want to grab 2. I've lettered failed because I've had to. I've lettered for 1 because I've had to, and I've lettered for 2 because I've had to.
Yeah.
So depending on the rest of his hand, this will be telling. Spencer not forgetting to artisan this time. And grabbing 1 off the letter they received. It's going to be interesting to see him try to fit him down a little bit more. I think he started the turn with 4 in his hand. Kuzma, okay. Kuzma Zatu.
Into the boulder, but we have an energy.
The evolve into the Togetic, I'm sorry.
Togetic, yeah. Oh, there's the energy. But now that we have the hand size. 2 cards in hand. Yeah, gonna show him 2. Matching them up.
That was around
strong.
as good could have did there. Because subject's gonna be forced here. If he wants to take this boulder knockout of his own, he's gonna just have to attach energy and attack.
And he can't do that because notably 2 cards in hand.
Oh, 3.
So 3 off the draw. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now we're at 3 for subject as well. So now we have to have some way to grow the hand as well as attach an energy.
Absolutely, yeah. He's gonna have to find himself a letter or something that brings him +1. Absolutely.
He does play the letter, so that is an out. But he would almost have to have it or start doing some Arvin manipulation with the amount of cards.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the only way to just straight up grab it is Arvin, though.
Yeah.
Arvin or like a teammate's Raihan.
Arvin or Raihan. Arvin or Raihan looks like the only options for that.
Mm-hmm.
Teammates in the list. There's Goose Holla. So that's going to get Recycle Energy. It's going to get Evo TM.
I don't think he's going to attack here.
I don't think so. I don't think he can. I don't think he can.
Angle.
Yeah,
I think it's just the Evo TM angle. And then you're going to make Spencer have no cards in his hand going into an Evo TM for next turn.
Sure.
I don't hate this approach from subject here. But then again, how does subject match that hand size? Oh, we see the Dusclops here, though. Going to be able to hit the Natu.
Unless we can evolve
if he wants it.
Well, this is off of the Evo. So he can't do it until next turn. Yeah, that's off the Evo. Off the Evo, we gonna get the Natu or the Dusclops and the Curlia into play.
I see.
Spence did notice the Artisan last turn and hits it again this turn. Be able to search out that basic Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Put it onto the bench.
Love to see him grab that this turn.
Yeah. We have the Duskull on Spence's side now. No further evolutions to this point to see.
Gotta wonder what those other. Looks like there's 2 cards in Spence's hand after that. No way he sends up the boulder here, right?
It's like the rope into the Duskull play, possibly.
Did just put the dust ball down, so that's not. It's looking like a buy turn angle. Sometimes you just gotta flip for confusion. All right, sure. I mean, getting the boulder out the active, I suppose, is okay because that's really his only saving grace for like next turn, I suppose.
Right, it's the only attacking threat that he has that really can push the issue. Because now, like you said, this Dusclops is going to be able to pop this Natu if subject so chooses.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that he probably will opt for a play like that, much like Spence did.
Mm-hmm.
See a Fog Crystal being played, searching out that energy.
Yeah, feels contentious for interesting. I mean, we were talking about how much that fixes math on the other things, like the Iron Boulder, because if in subject sec, the only things that's knocking out the Iron Boulder is the Iron Boulder itself and the blade, I believe. So
I think that subject's really identifying too. If there's nothing else to be said, I think subject's really identifying these turns where he can take a back seat almost to what Spence is doing and just say, "Hey, I have passive turn after turn things that I can do with this spreading or lost zoning something out of your discard pile, and like, I don't have to attack turn after turn after turn." And the onus is on Spence really to evolve this Togekiss, to take knockouts, to go, right?
Yeah, no, he's had time. There's been some time, and this is where you got to cash it. You got to get these guys evolved right now before subject can go Dusknoir into Boulder, and then you're kind of just sitting there, not playing the game anymore.
Yeah. This Ultra Ball probably going to search out, I would think, the Xatu, Curlia. Yeah, one of those two pieces. It's going to be the Curlia. Maybe changing his mind there. Not finishing the deck.
Curlia's not a terrible choice because yeah. I was going to say the Ralts is within 50, so he can subject can kind of just pick the Ralts off if he wants.
We perplex, so we do confuse. Do hit the confusion for the turn. Can retreat it off. And maybe that's what Spence is saying here. Spence is being like, hey, I don't want you to just keep doing this freely. If you want to come up and you want to swing with Boulder, be my guest. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the same thing back to your Boulder. Iono being played here. Subject getting 6 cards to the hand. Spence 5. So subject has set the hand size up. There we go. There's the additional draw for refinement. So subject now going to go to 7 cards in the hand. Spencer's 5.
Yeah, he's going to be able to be at least +1.
Sure.
Spencer's letters already accounted for. Like we said, a card like Timer Ball isn't going to just grab 2 to hold.
No.
So the plus cards, so to speak, are really just gone. The only way you can plus at this point is for a card like Teammates and like not play those cards.
Yeah. We do have
outside of your natural abilities.
We do have Ornato in play though, so that can jump us up 1 additional card, but one not necessarily going to be enough. So now we're eyeing up this Duskull, or this Dusclops off of an Ultra Ball. Goodness, Dustnor. And Dustnor, as we know, places the 13 damage counters. The Siren Boulder already has 2 on it.
Yeah.
So could that be the target of Subject's eye here?
Yeah, it's either that or it's the Togetic. I mean,
sure.
We've seen Spence have the ability to potentially jump the Blissupon last game, and he completely did the first game and kind of ruined Subject's game plan into the concessions. So this will be an interesting choice here. It looks like it is Boulder. Boulder is the easiest to recover, though.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Is that a...
There's a letter. Discarding.
Is that 3 prizes for Spencer?
4. Looks like
4
for Spence left. Yeah. Yeah, we can't discard that to Curlia. We've already discarded once. Letter can be played. Yeah, there we go.
Two.
As now we see Spencer up to, it was 5 from the Iono, and then an additional 1 now from the prize, so 6 on Spencer's side.
Yeah, and you gotta imagine the subject. Ooh.
Rope.
Rope.
Pain.
That's
painful.
That's a decision.
Probably just gotta be the Ralts, no?
It has to be, yeah. Yeah, absolutely has to be.
Oh boy.
Like barring prizing. Not this on too.
Now you're getting hand match. Oh well. No.
Wait. Oh god, that might even be worse.
Wait a minute. What was the other energy on the boulder? Is the other energy on the boulder the mystery energy? That's my guess. Right? Probably so.
Well, this is tough because you put yourself in a situation where if you don't move the Xatu or evolve the Dusclops,
the mystery energy.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, and we're lucky to not see, or Spencer's lucky to not see Subject recover that Dust Ball there because he couldn't really close this game out next turn if he finds that.
Mimikyu, but Mimikyu's not going to be doing much right now. Just a couple damage spread. Definitely not going to be where you want to be here.
No, not at all.
Mysterious treasure. So we are going to get the Togekiss online, or see, and here's where that 2 damage may pay off. So we could, yeah, you could get. Looks like this is the Dust Nor that Spencer's eyeing up here. I don't believe that's the Clops. So maybe we have a rare candy in hand of our own.
It's interesting too, because if you grab the Curlio, like you have 50 left or 40 left.
So what is that?
Yeah, you'd have 40 left if you have Curlio. That's just 2 turns of spread.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Toga deck. Also only 40 on it. Like the best turn here could be like a couple energies sitting in his hand plus like a Rizu or something like that.
There's Judge.
Okay.
So is it okay though? We play that Mysterious Treasure. And we search something out with it. I guess you don't want to see Hisuian Heavy Ball or Mysterious Treasure off of. But why not get an evolution and at least evolve one of these Pokemon?
Yeah, no, I'm right on board there with you. I don't think he grabbed the Dusknoir unless if you have the candy into the Judge.
Yeah, sure. I'm not understanding. Even the Togekiss, unless multiple Pokemon are prized.
Just some prizing that we just don't know about.
Sure, that's gotta be it.
Oh, we see candy. That answers that question.
Okay, so just getting the Judge then. Judge not having been played down yet. That's what I'm guessing we're missing here, is it?
Ooh. I think that reversal's just. I think that's got to go on to like Togekiss or Dusknoir for sure.
There you go.
To the Togetic, I like that a lot.
There you go. We are going to reestablish the bundle. Or, I'm sorry, the boulder. I've got my head way too on Silver Series right now, as you can tell.
Ooh, and the reach. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so able to play all that down.
Pretty gross.
Yeah.
I was just thinking to myself, like, you can't clairvoyant sense the active, so he's going to have to find the retreat with the reversal energy attachment for turn.
Sure.
I was just thinking that. So, we're a Togekiss away from stuff getting really funny right here. Spencer had 4 prize cards here.
Yep.
If he finds Togekiss and rolls 2 hits, he's going to the semifinals.
Yeah, no joke, man. It could be insane.
Looks like we found an energy. Looking at clairvoyant sense here.
Why the extra?
Because if you flip heads on the Dusknoir, you need an extra one to attack. So he actually needs Dimension Valley here too. There's the evolution as Logan. Buckle up.
Yep.
That wasn't Togekiss.
That's not Togekiss. I'm guessing this Togekiss.
That's not Togekiss.
Is Togekiss prized? But why? If that's the case, why would you be attached? Because, I mean, I guess you're going to try to blow up and draw it, right?
Okay. I see the vision there.
We just pass.
No.
No. Here we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to go to the active. You have to.
Oh, takes out the Giratina on the bench with the energy.
I strongly disagree with that. I think you have the chance to win the game there, and you just do it. Yeah, I think you just blow active.
Because Togekiss isn't in play.
Oh, that is right.
Yeah, you don't. You needed to draw Togekiss right there.
You needed to draw it and then attack.
Yeah, so that you could attack right then. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes so much more sense now. Ignoring it.
This is crazy. This is a crazy play out of events, though.
It is absolutely I'm on the edge of my seat here. This is and it's a testament to how good Cursed Kiss is. You see how bad things are.
Yeah.
You see how you can kind of like chop things up and stumble along, and then once your engine's online, you're just a turn or 2 away from winning the game. Like your opponent has to close like that, or else, you leave that door cracked just a little bit. Cursed Kiss is going to come and kick it open.
So Spin's definitely taken out the right threat the last turn, in my opinion, now in the Giratina. Just saying, okay, this 2 damage counters is not going to be what gets me. It's going to be something that you come up and start attacking with. And here we go. Now we see the Guzma bringing up Spence's Togetic to KO it with the boulder. So this was inevitable here for sure.
A reversal down to, we've seen the clairvoyant commitment.
There's the knockout.
Notably, too, we didn't see a rescue stretcher or anything on the dust ball that last turn.
Yeah, not that last turn. And I will say this Yuxi is definitely a liability here, as we see both these players at 3 prize cards. If Spence could take a knockout this turn and somehow piece together a Dusclops over the coming turns, that could be his way to close out the game.
Looks like he's got VS Secret for teammates here. Looking at the discard pile, pulled it to the top.
Sure. And off the teammates, he can establish his Gallade if he thinks that that's what he needs to do. Looks like
he could even trade before this here. No.
Sure. Yeah. Versus Secret for teammates. We're gonna just go straight for the 2 cards that we want here. I imagine that in some combination it's Dimension Valley and an energy for this Iron Boulder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even the Mimikyu to copy the Iron Boulder.
Looks like we're grabbing Fog Crystal for the energy.
So there's the energy, and I imagine, like I said, the second card probably Dimension Valley.
Probably. Listen, I'm not assuming anything anymore. Listen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just thinking your counter energy is not active, and then now that teammates,
sure, you have clairvoyant sense.
Sure.
He did just hand match. You had to play the VS Secret to get the teammates, so that you're -1. Maybe he has to do that to find it.
Yeah, maybe so.
To bring it back up. That's what it looks like. The sense.
We haven't played that second card yet, definitely. So we just have no idea what that is.
So we're calculating.
Counting hand size for sure right now. And you couldn't have said it better. I'm on the edge of my seat. We're coming right up to the time as well. I'm sure Spence's alarm will be going off any minute now. There's the Dimension Valley. Match the hand size. Knockout on the boulder. Spins to 2.
What subjects say that too? Also,
3 on subject side. Yep, 3 to 2. Spence does have that 1 prize card advantage going into these last couple of turns. Can he continue to answer back and forth here? Notably, there, I don't know if I'm the wrong one in here, but I'm not sure that I wouldn't have liked to have saw the Mimikyu attack that turn, because you know that subject has a Mimikyu waiting on the bench, and he can hand match and do that. But then next turn, you can't copycat the copycat. Right.
Cypher Maniac, is that what it is?
Yeah, Cypher Maniac being either discarded to Refinement, I believe. Yeah, Cypher Maniac being discarded to Refinement to draw the hand.
Okay, gotcha.
And we evolve into Gallade. Gallade gonna search out a supporter.
Dimension Valley in play. Subject can grab something such as a counter energy here and just swing with the Gallade. Or the Mimikyu.
The Mimikyu, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, Mimikyu would make more sense.
And this is where I would have liked to have seen Spence swing with Mimikyu last turn.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Because at this point, you're just racing, right? There's no Duskulls in play. There's no Togekisses in play. At this point, we're playing fair Pokemon. Who can take the 6 quicker than the other? And the spread may end up adding up over the course of a couple of turns, but that Curlia is still 2 spreading attacks away, and even if that were to be knocked out, then there's not enough damage on the board anywhere else to take an additional knockout. So this is coming down right to the wire.
Yeah, because after this Mimikyu, it's going to have to be like a Dimension Valley counter energy play if Spence makes a response here.
Yeah.
And like that's almost exclusively what it has to be for a lot of subjects side of the table after this. So it's going to be interesting to see how Spence responds to this.
Here we go. This Mimikyu is going to copycat. I wonder if Spence... thought through this in any way.
Looks like subjects eyeing up a stretcher type of play too.
Yeah, like I said, if that Duskull comes back into the fray, then this is what
that's
up.
Duskull comes down. That's going to be a
Oh, here's the Tulip. Yep. So over the course of the next 2 turns, Spencer's going to have to win this game because we're going to have an attack this turn, take a knockout, and then going into subject's next turn, he's going to have Dusclops in hand to be able to knock out this Kirlia, to be able to knock out, well, really only the Kirlia. So Spence could evolve up and get it out of range.
And notably, Dusclops, like taking down the Xatu early, like I know that made a lot of sense in the moment, but like Dimension Valley being a double-edged sword, it's gonna be. He kind of gave subject the out there, right? Because he didn't have to Gallade for his own Dimension Valley. He was able to play Tulip, and like you said, going to be able to assuredly, if he grabs the Dusclops, right? Yeah.
There you go.
You give him a clear route to the basket here.
Yeah, you just say, okay, you have to evolve. Well, that's not how that works.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Realizing that now. 2 birds on the bench.
What a game! What a game! What a couple of games here.
Absolutely, I've had a blast.
All right, level ball. Gonna fail. Looks like we're just.
This has been a roller coaster.
Thinning the hand, and Spence sees the writing on the wall. He's about to lose this Iron Boulder from this Mimikyu copycat. And now, here we go.
Crunch time.
Like I said,
can something be prevented? Like, I think that Spence has to. A couple things have to happen here, right? The Kirlia is in range of being Dusclops.
Yep.
So it's non-negotiable that it has to be delayed and or disrupting subject's hand right now.
Yeah.
And even then, he still has the delayed for next turn. So that does.
Yeah, like I said, I really think that this is gonna boil down to having not used your copycat the turn before.
Yeah, no, that was big in the moment. I didn't quite catch it at first, but yeah, can't copycat the copycatter.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be a tough thing to.
Yeah, this is a tough response you're asking for here. Like you said, you're asking for Gallade. You're asking for.
Yeah, we know no Raihan in the list.
No.
Dimension Valley's in play, but there's no Xatu, no nothing.
Yeah.
So it almost has to be
there's the Gallade.
Okay.
So now we can go Tulip.
And I'll tell you what. Now, Gallade gets Tulip, and you Tulip for the Boulder back energy, and bring yourself up to a couple more of those cards, right?
This is crazy.
And,
this is so down to the wire. Literally combinations of cards being seen that absolutely have to be seen in the moment, or else these players lose the game.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, like I said, was just non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like, it had to either be delayed or disrupt, or disrupt.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have to fill up your hand and get the get your boulder back and attach to it. Hope that you can match hand size here.
And now we could just attack with Glade this turn, notably as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like we're not even ironing up the Iron Boulder. 3 energies in the Duskull. Duskull back into play. Is that too late? Like I said, that Uxie's been sitting over there with 2 damage counters on it this entire game. So the same questions are being asked on Spencer's side. Spence can take this knockout this turn and then not even have to attack next turn. Just can find the evolution. But will Subject take a prize card there? That's another rare interaction here. We could be going to 1-to-1 prize cards, and then if Spence tries to use that Duskull, then you can't do that. You go into sudden death, bro. Like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I would have liked to have saw the boulder be recurred there. Another kind of like just small thing that may is a little bit of an oversight. Like unless Subject just passes you the ball back, then you're not doing anything with that Duskull.
Yeah. And notably, Spence is going down to 1-2. And if Subject has 2 prize cards, he can't win the game off of his own like rare candy into Dustnor plus attack kind of.
No, he cannot. He cannot.
That
Subject cannot risk any kind of popping on his side either. Exactly. Mm-hmm. These are those interactions that we see more so on the standard side of things because, in standard we're seeing 4 of this line, multiple copies of this Dustnor, and so prize navigation is really key. I can't stress it enough how incredible these games have been. Literally coming down to the absolute wire. Now, Subject's eyeing out an Avery off of this Glade. I wonder what they could be hoping to draw into here.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. Like he has to be searching for a couple of cards. We know that he plays teammates, so I don't think it's 2 cards that he needs. He probably needs to draw into all 3 of whatever he's looking for. It's not a 2-card combination.
There's Clairvoyant to Glade. There's the reverse, or there's the counter to Glade. So Glade's attacking this turn.
In play. Something's coming, yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. This Iron Boulder needed to be grabbed last turn, I think.
Well, unless if we see the Lux Cape go down, Spencer's in the clear. He got the mystery energy on the Mimikyu. Dimension Valley's in play. I don't think the Lost City matters here. As long as Spencer has an energy, he's just going to be able to return the Glade with Mimikyu, no?
No, not with the cape on it now.
Oh my goodness. Was that just Faba?
Was Faba.
Oh, that's brutal.
But we don't remove the Dimension Valley. So we are just 1 energy still.
No, he has Lost City in play.
Oh, yeah. I see.
He dropped Lost City into Faba. Dude, that's huge.
Yep, and then now this Glade's being removed off the board.
Mm-hmm. Not going to have Buddy Catch. Not going to have Dimension Valley. There's no Xatu. Rare Candy is down. You have no energy on the board.
There is Xatu. Xatu is down.
Xatu's down?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Xatu's that Pokemon.
Okay.
With that 4
So you are 2 energy
12
away.
cards in hand.
12 cards. We know that 2. Wait, do we know that 2 of them are Psychic Energy off Tulip?
Yes.
That's game.
Okay, let's see if he sees it. Because again, there is a cape on this. There's a cape.
Oh, I did not see the cape.
Yeah. There's a cape on this.
I keep
cape on this. We gotta have a blower.
I'm listing these little things. Okay.
The blower too.
Yeah, you need blower.
When
Wow.
we promote the Mimikyu, that's got to be wrong, right?
What? Yeah, I don't understand. He has to have it in his hand or something.
But how? Blower? One?
Lucidity?
Lusamine! Lusamine Dimension Valley,
Wow.
and there it is. We have
Wow.
got the copycat.
What a series of games.
What a series of games is right, Lee Hoffman. Those were some crazy, crazy games.
That was a lot to like comprehend and take in. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, man, it feels like you want to talk about MVPs. I'm not gonna say that. I, you know what, Lee? Do it to yourself too. We pat ourselves on the back for that one. That was a whirlwind, man. That was
dude,
incredible.
that was a roller coaster, man. I felt every emotion that you probably could, both from
Absolutely.
commentating, and you know, it being a deck that I play and am very familiar with, and being familiar with both these players. Spencer, obviously, our guy. That was a lot to feel in 90 minutes.
Crazy. Crazy, man. Crazy games. We
Yeah,
saw
that
everything.
game three was absolutely phenomenal. That was the best game I've seen in a while. I think subject showing that it's 4:33 in the morning for him. Is that what I just seen?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I
Wow.
made us big, so I'm not really sure, but I would imagine that it probably is late over there. Subject's
Yeah,
got one
no,
of our
absolutely.
European guys from the
Yeah,
on
I was gonna
Discord.
say subject operating on European time.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Well, I I absolutely have been thrilled with the way that this matchup has turned out. It's been kind of an incredible showing from Curse Kiss and also from Subject and his deck. You know, really awesome plays from both the guys. I know Spence is very excited. We'll move on now and let's see what we've got on the bracket side. You and I can
I think that's
mention that.
Spencer and SBO in the
Yeah,
semifinals.
yeah, definitely. So it is Spence and SBO moving on to the semifinals for this part of the bracket. So,
Yes.
like you said,
First
we've got
Kiss will have his chance to avenge itself against Renegade next round.
sure will. It sure will. I know that Renegade had an amazing showing today. You know, not much that anyone could have done with that deck. You know, a couple of turns into the game, having 10 into the lost zone, 7 into the lost zone, just kind of doing what it wanted to do. But now, like
Double
you
walk
said,
start for Kiss.
yeah,
There's a
definitely.
lot of things,
Definitely.
just
Like you
some
said.
higher variance. It's tough. You as long as you let Curse Kiss play the game. Like I know that subject was being very meticulous and passive with those spreading turns, but like you got to slam the door on a deck like Curse Kiss.
Yeah.
You just can't let them hang around that long.
Yeah, I think that's what Subject kind of got into just a little bit was like this
A little bit too
trying to be
passive.
slow and methodical, right? And the damage counters never seem to make any difference. I'm like
Yeah,
you. Once you
because you
spread
really need to
once,
cash in right after you do the first one.
sure,
Because that's where everything is most vulnerable.
right,
You got the Togekiss getting to under to 120 remaining. You
right,
got the Boulder going to 120 remaining. Even his own Dusknoir if he's holding out. So many of these things. Earlier after two spreads and evolving into Glade, you can Dusknoir that. So many of these things have to operate in a timely manner
right,
to make it worth the commitment to announce that attack for your turn.
right.
And it just subjects wasn't able to cash in on that. I've seen the vision; it just wasn't fast enough. And
Yeah,
like
definitely.
fantastic showing from subject, and shout out to subject too. That's one of the cooler psychic lists I've seen. That lost uh
Get
lost
lost.
sitting
Get
or the
lost.
lost zone, the Guzma into the Duskull
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
was absolutely heinous.
Atrocious.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, just hats off the subject for a great run, great season, and a lot of these decks, are players own their own cooks,
Sure.
and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a fan of of these guys and how they're thinking and the innovation that's being shown lately.
Yeah.
I'm a player. Uh, we're doing this now and everything, but above all else, I'm just a fan of the cards, and I like seeing cool stuff being played, man. And it's been really refreshing, and in a very very fun experience.
Yeah, like you said, we were on the edge of our seat pretty much the whole night. 3 solid full games.
Dude.
I don't think that we could have asked for much more. I know that if you've hung out and stuck around with us, then we've been happy to have you around. If you're watching it tomorrow, man, enjoy what I hope you've enjoyed what you saw as much as we have, because
Yeah, no,
like I said,
absolutely. That kind
been
of
a roller
content
coaster.
is not just readily available
Yeah,
for any stuff like that. I'd be hard pressed to see something more entertaining in standard format than that. And maybe I'm talking out my
it was wild, man.
butt here, but that was a fantastic series of games.
It was wild.
Like sincerely.
Well, Lee, I appreciate you stopping by with me tonight and us kind of doing our thing. I know that
My pleasure, brother.
we were hoping to see.
We get to tune in and watch games like this and commentate over it.
Absolutely,
that
man.
it's not work. That's just doing something you love to do.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to join you anytime.
For sure, for sure. Well, guys, from the TBS squad, Lee and I, we're gonna sign off for the night and go give our boy Spence a good round of applause. But you guys stay tuned. I know that we've got Ghouls match coming up Friday, and then lots more on the horizon from us, like we keep saying. So thanks for hanging out, and have a wonderful rest of your night. We'll see you guys next time.